I'm also going live on YouTube. Figured we'd start going live again. We talk about some brand, we talk about some founder stuff, talk about some interesting stories. Maybe take some questions if anybody's got any questions about why I started the brand, why did we name it Hostage Tape, all those kind of interesting things. Go ahead and you can put them in the comments. Let me know. But that's what these afternoon stream sessions are going to be about. They're going to be about just talking about the brand, talking about everything from a founder perspective. And I've got Instagram going here. I've got YouTube going here. So trying to do a little bit more live streaming. Right, Gary Vee talks about this quite a bit. That live streaming is kind of this new wave of media that I think is going to be a key to any brand's success. Because I think what we're seeing a lot of AI out there right now, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger. I mean, we're playing with AI, so I understand what other brands are thinking, what other brands are doing, and how they're trying to leverage it. And then in turn, I can see what you guys are seeing in the feeds. You know, I can see all the different types of AI content that you guys are seeing, and so I think what streaming means just being authentic. It's bringing an authenticity to the to social that I think people are going to crave. I think people are going to crave authenticity the more AI gets just thrown into people's faces. And so that's the goal. That's the goal here with doing these lives. So I'm going to go through a list of just different questions, and I'm gonna talk about these things. And if it's interesting, cool. If it's not, that's fine too. But go ahead and feel free to type in questions into the chat as I kind of just talk through some different things. But topic number one that I'm going to talk about is talk about. Oh, is somebody asking me about the Joe Rogan mention? Mm, yeah. Okay. So the Joe Rogan mention. What's cool about the Joe Rogan mention is that's number five for us. We've actually been mentioned five times by Joe Rogan on his podcast. So it's not a new thing for us. It's definitely amazing. Like anytime you get shouted at by somebody like Joe Rogan, I mean, Joe Rogan is, I think, arguably one of the most influential persons on the planet. He's got a reach of, 100 million people watch him in a given month. And so, love him or hate him, he's an influential guy. And a lot of people watch him, a lot of people listen to him. And Joe's been a user of Hostage Tape for a couple of years now. And so every once in a while, like he'll just kind of get the bug, and then start talking about it because I think what's interesting about our product for Joe is it's something he wears every night. So hostage tape is always top of mind for him. It's part of that intimate space that we have when you go to bed, and so he's always thinking about hostage tape. And if you watch Joe, you know that he's always thinking about his health, and he's always focused and disciplined on what does he need to do to stay focused on being the healthiest dude that he can be, whether that's his cold plunging, his sauna, busting his ass in the workouts, all those kind of things. And he talks about that stuff quite a bit. So I think that's just what's fortunate about hostage tape is the fact that because it's something he wears every single night and his wife wears it too. Um, it's just always there. It's always top of mind, and it's something that just gets ingrained into his routine. Like he's a super routine guy, and so once I think something makes it into his routine, like I think we're extremely lucky and fortunate that Joe is picked, hostage tape to be part of that routine, and then he likes to talk about it. And ironically, every time he's talked about it, the last two times has been with Bert Kreischer. So both Bert Kreischer episodes, he I think they always end up talking about health because Joe picks on Bert because I don't think Bert doesn't do a great job of taking care of himself. Every time you see him, he looks, fatter than he did before. I love you, Bert, but he just fluctuates all over the place, and so he'll be talking about how he's not drinking for a while and how he's got a trainer and all these different things. And I think Joe likes to poke fun at him. But they started talking about sleep again, and they talked about it twice, both times when he was on the pod, and Joe was talking about how he wears hostage tape every night, and um, it's so cool to see the brand that we created being talked about by somebody like Joe Rogan. I mean, it truly is like every brand, every brand, any brand that tells you they don't care is lying, because anybody that starts a brand in this day and age is shooting to get the Joe Rogan mention, to get mentioned on Joe Rogan, to get on the Joe Rogan podcast. That is like a number one thing that at least every dude, I mean, maybe not for the women. You know, if there's women brands out there, they probably don't care. They probably want to get on like Call Her Daddy Pod or like, you know, Amy Poehler or something. But for any guy that starts a brand, it's getting on Joe Rogan, man. It's having Joe Rogan mention you. And the fact that I've gotten mentioned 5 times by Joe, I feel extremely grateful, extremely thankful to the universe that everything just kind of worked out and that Joe has picked our brand to be something that he loves. He gets a kick out of the name. He gets it, and it's awesome. And then he and I we DM each other back and forth, so we have a relationship where he knows who I am, I know who he is, and we can talk and have kind of a back and forth with each other. So that's really cool too. That's really cool when you can develop relationships with these people that aren't just from afar, and somebody mentions you. And so, that relationship with Joe is so awesome and so amazing as we cultivate it and, um, you know, build hopefully an even bigger relationship with Joe just because I'm so grateful for everything that he's done for us. So, um, all right. So another question was, what made Hostage Tape a recognizable brand and not just another product? Yeah. So I think what made Hostage Tape a recognizable brand, I think it comes down to a couple of key things. Number one is the name, right? So choosing a name, Hostage Tape, was a ballsy move, obviously. Anybody that's going to go out and name their product Hostage, right? It's it takes a lot of guts, and we took a lot of flack. It's like Liquid Death, right? Liquid Death took a ton of flack for calling it Liquid Death. And I saw Liquid Death and I said to myself, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do what they did. We're going to lean on brand because at the end of the day, we're not just selling another product. That's the thing is we went into this building an amazing product, but also building a brand and identity and a movement. And when you accomplish that and you do it right, then it lands with people, and then that's when a product like ours isn't just a product, but it starts getting picked up by all these other people, super well-known people like Joe Rogan, and there's countless others too. I mean, there's tons of NFL players, NFL MVPs. I don't think he's going to be on here, but Aaron Rodgers, big time user of Hostage Tape. Um, he's really into his health, you know, and I don't think Zuck's gonna be watching this either. But Mark Zuckerberg, he's a user, so like big time people, folks, and that's what's cool is that we took this Hostage Tape brand, came in at the right time, and then we spent a lot of money, obviously, in Facebook and Instagram ads to really get this out there to people and really kind of bust through this initial skepticism that people have. Because mouth taping, let's be honest, it's a very people have a very skeptical view of it. Even I did, right? Before I'd experienced it. I mean, when you experience mouth taping for the first time, then you get it, especially if you're a mouth breather. And so it was just all of those things, and then getting the brand. So I'm a hustler, man. Like if there's one thing you know about me, if you get to know me, um, I was. You can see the jerseys on my wall here. I was an athlete my whole life, and so when you've been an athlete your whole life, you understand the grind, the hustle, the hard work that you have to put in. And so nobody's going to outwork me. And so one of the things I did really early on was I seeded product with as many people, as many podcasters, as many influencers as I thought I could. Hey, Max Payne, what's up? We got a UFC fighter on here. Love you, buddy. Um, but I seeded it with as many people as I could. I sent it to Joe, right? I sent it to NFL players. I sent it to other podcast guys. I sent it to. I was just talking about Joe, man. Just talking about how much Joe Rogan. Somebody was asking me earlier about the Joe Rogan shout out, and so I was talking about Joe and how much he loves hostage tape and he wears it every night, and how grateful I am that Joe is has given us the love, shouted us out, wears us every night. So, but um, and so back to the brand. Yeah. Okay. So you're saying you were skeptical. Totally. That's a normal reaction. So you said I was skeptical, but when I tried the mount tape, I was blown away, and now I've got a brand in Bulgaria. Oh, okay. You're one of those guys. You're trying to create a knockoff, huh? All right. But um, but yeah. So it was building a movement. It was building a brand and not a product. And I didn't launch on Amazon. Okay. Um, if you, now, okay, let me rephrase it. If you're saying you use a brand in Bulgaria, you can still get hostage tape in Bulgaria. You can get it. Okay. In fact, one of my head of my operations is in Serbia. So if we have to get you hostage tape and there's no way for you to get it, like we can get you hostage tape. Okay. You can, if you can access Amazon UK, we do have hostage tape on Amazon, the Amazon UK. So if you've got access to that, that might be an easy way, but we can ship hostage tape across the pond, wherever it needs to go. Unless it's a country that the U.S. has deemed, you know, we don't have trade with them. I think there's a couple of those. Then obviously we can't sell there. But the but back to brand. So it's about building brand, right? And and my focus was not to launch on Amazon. That's a question that a lot of people ask, especially people who want to start brands. I purposely didn't launch on Amazon because of the reason that we wanted to build brand. And if you launch on Amazon, the problem is you launch on Amazon and then you open yourself up to just being a product. And then everybody starts seeing what you're doing. All these foreign knockoffs start trying to look at what you're doing, and then they try to copy it. And then the marketplace gets flooded with cheaper products, and then it's a race to the bottom with pricing before you even established a brand. So I knew that was something that we didn't want to do. We wanted to build the brand so that when we had a big enough brand, we could go to Amazon and then launch because there was so much demand from Amazons. There were so many people that were searching for hostage tape on Amazon, and so that we did that probably within like a year or two, and then we launched on Amazon, and then don't get me started on Amazon, man. Amazon's a joke. They they then actually banned mount tape. They banned mount tape on Amazon in 2023, and then they refused to actually enforce the ban. So you could go on Amazon now and you could see a bunch of crappy, awful um, knockoffs that just aren't safe on Amazon. Don't buy it on Amazon, folks. We're not on Amazon anymore. Okay, we do not sell on Amazon, so don't buy that stuff on Amazon. Go to hostagetape.com and get this stuff there. You're gonna get a better deal from us, anyways, on the site. All right. So somebody said the new packaging makes the adhesive stick to my face more. Is that something you're working on? I mean, I think your question is that's a good thing, right? So it sounds like You're saying our new packaging, it sticks to your face better. And when you say, is that something you're working on? Like, what do you mean? Are you asking if it was that our intention was to make it stick better, or is there a problem with it that you think we need to improve it on? Because yes, we did absolutely. Yeah. So we did come out with a an upgraded version of the tape, an upgraded package, and also an upgraded backing. And so I think the biggest thing that people notice is this new backing that we have. And so let me explain that, because there's a really good reason for that. So our old tape looked like this, and it had, just the backing like that, and the new tape looks like this, right? Okay. And what we found was that, we're getting exposed to so many new customers all the time, that when we watch people pull hostage tape out of the package for the first time, they struggle understanding how to take the backing off and then to use hostage tape for the first time. So we realized, okay, we got to fix that, because it inherently isn't obvious that all you got to do is actually pull it. That's not obvious. Okay. I know it's not obvious because we watch people. We'll study people, we'll give them a piece of tape, and we'll study what they do for the first time. And I also know this because I'm the founder. The first time that I was ever shipped our newest tape, I didn't even know that, because it's not instinctually, you don't think, oh, I could just pull it and pop it. It's not a normal, intuition that you have. So that's a problem. It's a big problem when you're trying to introduce this product to new customers. And so we then changed to this backing, because now it's much more obvious that, hey, I can just grab a side here and I can peel it and I can pull it right off. All right. So it's much easier from a new customer's perspective to pull the piece out and try to have a great experience with the tape. Now, what I will say is this: for any existing customer who is used to the popping, because we've gotten this feedback where people are like, well, wait a minute, I can't pop it anymore. This is different than what I'm used to doing. And so you can still pop it. You can still rip it and pop it if you want to, because this is paper, right? And so if you want to, you can you can rip it, and then you can still pop it just like that. For the people who want to do that, you still absolutely can, because there's some people who I know like to do this, and then they like to peel it kind of like this and then put it on like that. You can still do that, okay? But so yes, the we're always we're always trying to improve the tape, improve the product. Because again, I mean, that's again a difference with us, is that we're a real brand, we're a real product here in the U.S. And I started this brand because I wanted to inspire men to get better sleep through mouth taping, because it sounds crazy, but I wanted to build something cool. I wanted to build a movement, right? And something that men could feel proud to put on their face. They could feel proud to be a part of, and could feel badass and feel cool. Like it's this cool, badass movement that they're a part of, right? Not just some stupid piece of tape you're putting on your face that you got at Walgreens, because that's not cool at all. Okay. So that was, yeah. And so like we're always trying to make the tape better, 100%. And we're gonna keep doing things. We're gonna keep coming out with more. We're gonna have some updates to our tins. We've got these awesome bedside tins, but we've got updates coming to these that are gonna be really great too. If you didn't notice, we we re-released our nasal sticks. Okay, so this is really really awesome. We had these in stock for about a year, maybe not even a year, but we had these over a year ago, almost 2 years ago, I think. and then we went out of stock, didn't have them for a while, and then we finally were able to get it back in stock again. And so we've got our hostage nasal sticks. They are a mint flavor, and these things are awesome because they're all natural. They've got essential oils, all natural essential oils, all natural. That's actually another thing I want to mention too. We're getting more and more people asking about this, and our tape our tape is made of non-toxic materials. Okay, this is non-toxic materials. It's medical grade materials. It's hypoallergenic adhesives, so very safe, very great, high quality, premium materials that we use. Now, the stuff that you might, those knockoff crap stuff that you find on Amazon, I don't know. I wouldn't trust that stuff because you don't know who those people are. You don't know what those brands are. You can't trust that stuff, but you can trust us because we are the biggest brand in the world. Okay. We're here in the US. I'm the founder. We've sold 51 million of these. You know that? 51 million mouth tapes we've sold. It's a lot of mouth tape. Okay. But back to the nasal sticks. And so these are all natural. And so what's great about these is like if you're going to bed, you can pop this out. I love doing that. It's like a fun little thing I like doing. So do that. Get a nice huff right in. You can feel the burn, and it opens up your nasal passageways, your sinuses right up. Feels amazing. It's a great way to just again open those up right before you go to bed, right before you put on your hostage tape before you go to bed. I also carry this with me when I go to the gym. Okay. All right. So somebody had a question about who's going to win the Super Bowl. All right. You came to the right place, my friends. Obviously, I'm a football guy. I'm a quarterback myself. I also run QB Grip. If you've seen that channel, uh, if you haven't, it's at QB Grip on Instagram. It's where I analyze and I break down quarterback grips because I'm a former quarterback. So let's talk a little Super Bowl here. All right, so I'll tell you what, I'm excited about this game. This is a Super Bowl that I'm excited about. That I haven't been excited for the Super Bowl in a long time. I'm a big Tom Brady fan, so I love Tom Brady. I'm a big fan of the Patriots. Wink, wink. You know where this is going. But I love the fact that we have two brand new teams in the game, and we have two amazing stories at quarterback. Okay, so let's talk about that. So you've got New England Patriots back in the Super Bowl, quite possibly a 2.0, right, of a dynasty. We're on the verge of a potential dynasty, Patriots 2.0. Okay. And then you've got a kid in Drake May who he could be Tom Brady 2.0. So you've got this amazing young talent at quarterback. He's going to be the second youngest quarterback to start a Super Bowl behind Dan Marino. Okay, Dan Marino was the youngest quarterback. I think it was 23 or 24, but Dan Marino was the youngest quarterback to start a Super Bowl, and now Drake May will be the second youngest quarterback to start a Super Bowl. Okay, I think other guys on that list include like Ben Roethlisberger, Brock Purdy. Um, there was like a Woodley guy from the Dolphins. I think that year when Greasy went down with an injury, and then I think he stepped in and played and started that Super Bowl. I know there's another guy missing, but um, Jalen Hurts maybe. But so you've got that story, right? And then Mike Vrabel. I mean, come on, like a Patriot legend to bring him back, and now he's the coach. Like it couldn't be any better for them. And then you've got on the other side, and I'm in Minnesota, folks. So I've seen Sam Darnold up close, and you can't help but wonder if part of the reason why our GM just got fired is because ownership went, "Wow, look at Sam Darnold. He just took the Seattle Seahawks to a Super Bowl. Okay, that's the last straw. We're going to fire you." Right. And so I loved Sam Darnold. Obviously, I didn't love what I saw in the playoffs. Like, he didn't look great in in the biggest games that mattered. But I think there was a bigger picture there of what I loved about Sam. And so now you've got this journeyman in Sam Darnold in Seattle who is so talented and had his opportunity, didn't happen, and he bounced around the league with a bunch of different teams, and then he ended up in Minnesota and by chance was not supposed to be the starter. JJ McCarthy goes down, Sam Darnold goes in, boom. And so I think it's it's an amazing story of like the polar opposites of quarterbacks. You've got this. He's not old. Sam's not old, but he's definitely a journeyman, and he's been around. And so you've got Sam, the old guy who's finally getting his shot, and then you've got the brand new young kid who's getting his shot. And so a a legacy is going to be built this Sunday, by one of those guys because you could argue that that Seattle team, that defense is pretty unreal. And so they've definitely got the upper hand. They've got some weapons on offense. Sam's got a lot of experience and super tough defense. But the Patriots, there's something magical about what they always bring to the table. And I'm predicting a New England victory. I think we're going to have a Tom Brady 2.0, Patriots 2.0 resurgence of this um, this dynasty. I think it's going to be another dynasty in the making for sure. So, but anyways, all right, let's get back to hostage tape. Let's talk about hostage tape. Let's talk about let's talk about the brand because that's what we are, right? This is the hostage tape channel. We're talking about hostage tape, okay? So again, as I'm talking here, folks, we're talking about the brand. So if you've got any questions, anything you want to know, anything you want to know about the brand, why I did what I did, put it in the comments, and I'll answer questions as I'm going here. So the why I started it. So why did I start Hostage State? So I started Hostage State because I actually had a low point in my life where I was going through a lot of personal things with my wife, with my family. I had just sold my first company that I started, and I had been retired for a number of years. And so anytime you're an athlete, you've been an athlete your whole life, and then you retire from playing, it's quite an adjustment, and you kind of don't you lose yourself. And so I definitely lost myself, and I lost my health, like taking care of myself. You lose the motivation too. You lose the motivation to like go into the gym and really take care of yourself the same way that you did when you were a player. It's very different. It's a very different mindset. And you have to channel something in order to get back into that mindset. Like there's some hope, something that you need to find off in the distance that you're working towards. Because when you're an athlete, you're in the gym, you're working towards a goal. So it's easy to be focused, right? It's easy to be motivated. But then when you're not, and then you're just a dad, you're just a business owner, right? It's hard to be focused on that direction of where you're headed in the gym. So I had lost that, and I had snored so bad that my wife actually moved out of the room, and she slept in another room for years. And so it was the fact that I was snoring like a chainsaw. I wasn't getting very good sleep. I wasn't taking care of myself. I didn't have a lot of energy. Just all that stuff. Just like piled on. And I'd sold my first company, and I just felt like the pain of what I was going through was so much that I had to stop and do something about it. And so I really started looking at my health, and I started with my sleep. It's like, what what can I do to fix my sleep? And so, you're a guy. You don't want to go into the doctor. Going into the doctor, getting a sleep study and doing all that kind of stuff is definitely not something most of the guys want to do. So I just kind of looked online, and um, I don't know what Haas's Live means. Maybe you want to expand on what your question is. But the I started looking into like, how do I stop snoring? And you kind of, it pulls up all the normal things like mouth guards and like pillows and all these different gadgets and things. So I did buy a mouth guard, actually. One of those mouth guards that you put it in boiling water, and then you put it. It's kind of like back when you played football in high school. You form your mouth guard every year, and you like burn your mouth doing it. So put it in the boiling water, formed it, and it was this really big bulky thing that ended up like keeping my mouth open, and it hurt so bad, and I ended up drooling like all over my pillow when I would wear this thing. It was awful. And so then I went back to Google, and I kept looking. And I kept looking beyond the first few pages because, when you're searching for something on Google, the first couple pages are filled with ads. And so I went past that, and I found this article about an experiment where they go to Stanford Medical Center, and they plug their nose for 10 days. And over those 10 days, they wanted to measure like what would happen. Okay. All right. Yeah. So somebody said those TMJ mouth guards are really hard to boil and form properly. Oh, they're the worst. Right. And even the ones that when you, I think, go to the dentist to get, you almost question like, okay, this seems like an absurd amount of money that I'm paying for this thing that you're going to make for me. It just seems wild. Okay. But so I do actually wear a mouth guard now, but it's a really small bite guard, so that I don't. I used to I used to grind my teeth a lot, and I think I ground my teeth because of my snoring issues and my mouth breathing issues. I don't think I actually really grind my teeth anymore, but I still wear this little bite guard that I love. It's a really low profile bite guard, um, that I put in my mouth, and then I put my mouth tape on. So does Hotch's tape have any difference to the one sold on Amazon? Yes, they absolutely do. I was talking about this earlier. Do not buy this shit on Amazon, guys. There's a reason we don't sell on Amazon. We do not sell on Amazon. Okay? The crap that's on Amazon, you can't trust it. Okay? And let me tell you why you can't trust it. Right? Is because mouth tape's banned on Amazon. Amazon has a ban on mouth tape. We are not allowed to sell on Amazon. We're the biggest mouth tape brand in the world, and they do not let us sell on Amazon because it's banned. So the stuff that's on there, Amazon refuses to enforce. They enforce the ban on the big well-known brands like us, and there's a couple of others that are, like legitimate brands. Okay, but all the crap that's on Amazon, they're not legitimate brands. You don't actually know what they're made of. You don't know what's in the glue. You don't know who they are. You can't trust those people because they're all overseas in somewhere. Okay? But Amazon doesn't enforce the ban on those like copycat BS crap stuff, which is amazing. You'd think Amazon would be really focused on quality. Let's have the best value, the best quality, and the best and the safest products for our customers because that's their excuse. Their excuse is that we don't let mouth tape. sell on Amazon because of safety concerns. Well, then why are you allowing these no-name knockoff crap brands sell? So you cannot trust it. You do not trust that stuff at all. Okay. So you're going to get the best quality product. You're going to get your best deals by going to hostagetape.com anyways. It looks the same, but it's not. It's not the same. Okay? It's not. All right? So I could rant about Amazon all day long because those guys are insane. Um, biggest, it's such a joke. Such a joke. I can't tell you how many brands I know who, awesome, you've been using Hostage Tape for 2 years. I love it. Tell me what your favorite thing about Hostage Tape is, and tell me which one you wear. Do you wear the pink or do you wear the black? So, yeah, that sucks. Amazon, they're heavy with compliance, too many black hat tactics. Oh, totally. You kind of sound like you know. You kind of sound like you've got some insight there. Totally. Amazon is a racket, dude, and it's gotten worse. It's gotten totally worse. I know a lot of brands who are like, I'm getting out of Amazon. Unless you're one of those brands who's just been entrenched and you have such a good history and you've got so much on Amazon, like you just have to deal with it. But there's so many others who are like, this isn't worth it. I mean, the amount of times that our brand would get hijacked, the fact that they have this stupid buy box hijacking is so awful. So, anyways, um, all right. So you said I've been telling my friends they got to get it. Damn right. You got to tell all your friends to get on it. Okay. You got to tell them to go there now because we've got our New Year specials up to like 57% off. And Joe Rogan, he just shouted us out on his Burt Kreischer episode a couple days ago, and shit is flying off the shelves. We will sell out. Okay. So tell all your friends, tell all your people to go to it. Hey, Ash. What's up, dude? Ash, Ash has joined the chat here. Awesome. Love it, love it, love it. If you guys haven't, go check out Ash. He's one of our creators. But again, folks, do make sure you go to the site, pick up our specials because Rogan just shouted us out the other day, and shit is flying off the shelves. And every time Joe shouts us out, we always sell out. Always sell out. Okay, so definitely make sure you go. We've got our New Year specials. It's like up to 57% off, and there's no risk. If any of you are thinking like, well, I don't know, I'm skeptical. Like I get it. I was skeptical too, and I'm the founder of the brand. But we've got a 30-day money back guarantee. 30-day money back guarantee. So if for any reason, like you're skeptical, you can get your money back. All right. But here's the deal: of 100 people that are going to buy hostage tape over the next hour, because we sell a lot. We've sold 51 million of these things. Okay. But over the next hour, of 100 people that are going to buy hostage tape, only one of them is going to come back and ask for a refund. Our return rate is really, really low because if you're a mouth breather and you get hostage tape, you're going to be happy with hostage tape. It's going to do what it's supposed to do. It's going to keep your mouth shut, right? It's going to stop your snoring. You're going to love to be a part of the brand. You're going to love to be a part of what we're doing and what we're building here. Then you're not going to want a refund, okay? It just doesn't happen. And then what happens is of those 100 people that typically buy from us, they might buy like a month supply or a couple of packs. They'll come back after a day or two of wearing hostage tape, and then they'll buy like a month, 6 month supply or like a year supply, right? Because we've always got some great 6 month bundles. So if you go to the site now and you click on the New Year special, you're gonna see a couple of big, our big 6 month bundles that you're gonna save like up to 50 some percent off. So huge savings. It's like 57 cents a night. Okay, awesome. But our tape is not made in the USA. Nope. Um, Dude, I mean, look. Here's the reality. There's some things that just don't can't get made in the USA, um, and some things that do get made in the USA. And this just can't get made in the USA. It just can't. Um, but Because even if even if this was ever to get made in the USA, because we are exploring other manufacturers, the problem is that it it gets so expensive to make in the USA that then I'm gonna have to pass that cost on to the consumer, and I don't want to make this so expensive for you guys that you're like, well, I'm not gonna buy that. I'm gonna buy the cheap knockoffs on Amazon. I don't want that to happen. I don't want you to do that. Okay, so I have to be somewhat conscious that I'm going to make the best quality product that I can, but that also has delivers the best value for you guys. And right now, you can get these 57 cents a night from us. Okay, when you buy our bundles. Okay. All right. So keep the questions coming, folks. Love it. Um, back to the, and I mentioned it earlier, and I'll mention it again, but I love talking about Joe. So Joe Rogan, he shouted us out on his podcast just the other day. Somebody said, so you said, so true. Unfortunately, China is the world's factory, but glad to hear you guys are focusing on quality. Yeah, no, for sure. Um, look, I mean, there's a lot of great things that get made and come out of that side of the world. So it would be foolish for us to think like everything needs to come back and be manufactured. I think in the U.S. Because that just can't happen. It's just not possible. But I think there's a handful of really key things that we do need to get here, and I think they're doing that. I think a lot of the main companies, companies like Apple and Nvidia, and Tesla, right? Really important things like chips, computer devices, phones, cars, right? Robots, all of those things definitely um, need to be manufactured here in the U.S. We need to, because that's going to have such a big, I think, future for this country. All right, so you'd said, I love that it doesn't have bad residue in the morning, and I can do my skin routine. I love it. That's an amazing point, everybody, because that's a concern. That's another reason why you don't want to buy the crap on Amazon, folks. If you go buy the crappy knockoffs on Amazon, you're gonna get a big ring of blackness or whatever color you buy on your mouth because you don't know what it is, right? And they don't care. They're gonna make the cheapest, crappiest product and then try to get you to buy it. Okay, so awesome. I love to hear that. All right, you said, do you sell in the UK? We are in the UK. We're on Amazon in the UK, ironically. All right, so Amazon UK does not have a ban on mouth tape, so you can go to Amazon and you can get hostage tape there. I know we were out of stock for a little while, but I think we're back in stock there, so you could check it. If for some reason you don't see it there, I think you can also get it on Health, that HEALF.com, I think, health.com. Um, they sell us too. So a couple of local places that you can get it right there. Awesome. Cool, cool. All right, so back to, I was talking about Joe Rogan. So I'm probably beating a dead horse, but look, I'm going to talk about Joe Rogan until the cows come home. It just doesn't get any better than when, the most influential dude on the planet, Joe Rogan, shouts you out. And so just the other day on his episode with Bert Kreischer, episode 2445, like an hour 45 minutes in, he talked about how he um, is it on. Do me a favor. Can you go on to Amazon UK, confirm that it's there, confirm that it's in stock, and let me know. Put it in the comments. I'm pretty sure it's back in stock there, but I haven't checked on that in a little bit. So let me know. But again, when somebody like Joe Rogan shouts you out, it's just it's every dude who starts a brand. One of his primary goals is to get on Joe Rogan, right? I can't imagine how much shit Joe gets sent. I mean, his address is hard to find. Uh, It is findable. You just have to know how to find it. It's not public. He purposely hides his address because if it was out there, I mean, the amount of shit that he would be getting sent would be like ridiculously insane. But I can't imagine how much stuff he still gets sent. You know, the amount of stuff that he gets, probably insane. So, but it's awesome, amazing that Joe um, is a user. He's a hostage taper, and he likes to talk about hostage tape. He loves talking about his health routines. And fortunately, hostage tape is one of those things that he he wears every night. So, all right. So you'd asked, wait, so people cannot resell your stuff on Amazon? No, we don't sell on Amazon. We do not sell on Amazon. So if if you see it, do not buy it. It's not on Amazon. Hostage tape is not on Amazon. So do not go to Amazon to buy anything that looks like this because it's not hostage tape. It is knockoff crap that you can't trust. Okay. Tell them to go to hostagetape.com. I mentioned it earlier. You may not have heard it, but hostage or Amazon have banned mouth tape. We're not allowed to sell on Amazon. No legitimate mouth tape brand is allowed to sell on Amazon because they banned it. They refuse to enforce, and this is why you shouldn't trust it, is they refuse to enforce those knockoff crap brands that are there now. So you can't trust it. You can't trust what you see because Amazon banned the category, yet they refuse to enforce that. There's no legitimate mouth tape brands on Amazon. None. Okay. Obviously, we're the biggest, and we're not there. But look, you can go to hostagetape.com. You're going to get a better deal, anyways, right? You're going to get better quality from us. So don't go there. You want to roll the dice, be my guest, but you want to actually support a legitimate US based brand. I'm the founder, okay? Support us, support our mission. We've sold 51 million of these things. We've got over 150,000 customers. Um, awesome. Cool. Yeah, we use a we actually use there's a company that is like a broker that handles our UK listing. So, dude, the reviews, I hate the review. The way all the reviews are done on Amazon is that's a racket too. That whole thing. So the way because again, that what's awful is people they'll bomb you in all the reviews and you there's nothing you can do about it, So if somebody wants to take you out, they will. And they'll hijack your buy box. So the amount when we were on Amazon, the amount of crap knockoffs who would try to hijack our buy box, it happened every day. Obviously, we're the biggest brand, so we were targeted all the time. And such a stupid mechanism for Amazon to do that, yeah, of course, people only put shitty reviews, of course, so they can like get their money back or be dumb, or it's like competitors, who want to try to take you out and just ruin your credibility. So it's really hard to trust what you see on Amazon unless it's like a legitimate big brand that you know already. It's hard to trust anything that you see. And but the so like we're on Walmart.com. Walmart.com has actually been much better to deal with because we started to see the issue too there where people would try to these crap brands would get on there and then they would try to hijack the buy box. And again, because we are who we are, the biggest brand, um, I went to the Walmart people and I said, guys, you've got to like allow us to like be able to turn this off. And so they turned it off. There's a feature where they can turn off the ability for the buy box hijacking because I'm sorry, but on those marketplaces, if I'm the only one, if nobody else can sell my product, that should be turned off. There should not be a feature where people can sell your product and hijack your buy box when nobody else can sell my product. That is a huge problem with Amazon and even Walmart. But again, I have an I had an in with Walmart where I they turned it off, so now my buy box in Walmart can't get hijacked. So yeah, dude, the Amazon transparency stuff that still doesn't work. It still doesn't help because you can have all your IP registered in there, and it still doesn't matter. So, all right, you said the only issue I have with hostage tape is when I use it on my nose. I have an oily nose, so it peels off before. Oh, you're talking about the nose strip. So do this. That's a legitimate thing. Like that. Obviously, there's nothing I can control. Everybody's a little bit different, right? And how greasy or oily they might be. So here's what you can try. Um, we do we do sell these wipes that you can get. They're called hostage hold wipes. Um, we're I think we've got a handful of them still, so you could go and you could order those, but um, once those are out of stock, we're not going to reorder them again. So you can go on Amazon and you can get either they're these alcohol type wipes, or you can get there's a non-alcohol version, which is like these skin type. They're like bandage wipes or something. There's some kind of like medical bandage wipes where they're designed to clean the skin, but then also add a little bit of um, an adhesion to it, so that way when you put tape, it sticks better and sticks real good. So again, you could go to on hostagetape.com. We do have hostage hold wipes, so we do have a bunch of those that you could try because those are designed. I forget what they're called. There's a specific name for them, but they're like bandage wipes or something like that. It's designed around that. It's used in hospitals when they apply bandages and tape on skin and all that kind of stuff. They use these special wipes that clean the skin and then they apply a layer to it so any any adhesive sticks really well. And so try those, or there are some on Amazon you could get to. So for sure. But that's common. I mean, the only way I could fix that, right, is like if I made them like nuclear sticky, which isn't gonna go well because if I make the nose strips even more sticky, then it's gonna rip skin off. You know, you create open wounds and scabs and sores and all that kind of stuff. So definitely don't want to avoid trying to do that. So, but all right. So again, let me get back here. Keep the questions coming for sure. Love talking about anything and all. So let me look at my list here of things I want to talk about. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to know, anything you want to ask me, please do ask me about the brand for sure. I'm looking at my list here, things I want to talk about. So why did I call it hostage tape? How about that? I know that's a question people are always fascinated about. Like, you have the balls to call this thing hostage tape. Like, why did you call it that? Where did it come from? And so the name came from when I started mount taping for the first time. I used to warn people, my kids in particular, because at the time my wife and I were separated, and so I used to warn my kids. I'd say, "Hey, if you bust into the room late at night, you're afraid, whatever, and you see me, it's gonna look like I'm being held hostage, so don't freak out. Okay, it's just mount tape." And I didn't think anything of it at the time because I actually, when I first started mount taping, I didn't fully flush out the idea of how I was going to build a mount tape brand. I just kind of had idea. I had kind of the idea that like, yeah, I could probably do this. I just didn't know what I was going to call it or how I would do it and if it would actually be something big enough. Um, all right, so you said I saw some people say they like using the tape at the gym. What exactly is the benefit of using it in that aspect? Can you clarify? Are you talking about the Are you talking about the nose strip at the gym, or are you talking about actually wearing mouth tape at the gym? Um, why don't you clarify that for me, if you would? And so when I when I started to really dial in, oh, the mount tape at the gym. Okay, so what people are doing is here's the thing: when you mount tape while you're doing a workout, or if you go on a run, it becomes immediately evident how much you're actually mouth breathing during a workout. Okay, so putting the tape on your mouth forces you to have to focus on nasal breathing the entire time, and you can't cheat because you shouldn't be mouth breathing at all. You should be focusing on nasal breathing during your workout. And so that's why they do it. They do it so that they don't cheat and they really focus on getting nasal breathing in, especially if they're moving around quite a bit, like CrossFitters, or like if you're not just doing a bench press, but you're actually moving around and like doing some kind of class or doing something, right? Then it's really easy to forget and then let your mouth drop open and start huffing and puffing out of your mouth. So that's why, people do it. And plus, too, I think it gets attention. People probably like attention. People probably like the fact that people are looking at them going, what are they doing? You know, I've done it a couple times, but only for pictures and videos. Like I'll go in the gym and I'll put the tape on and do some workouts or do something, and then um, my wife or my son will like film me or like take pictures of me from what I'm doing. So, but um, so back to the name, like why I call it hostage tape. So again, the the so when I started to dial in actually building the brand, I was a big fan of Liquid Death. I loved Liquid Death, and I loved how they had taken this very polarizing name and turned it into this awesome, fun, amazing brand. So I'm like, I want to do that too. Hostage tape. Whoa, maybe that's it. Because then what I realized is there's two sides to this. Yes, you do look like you're being held hostage when you wear mount tape, of course. But you, on the flip side of it, you feel held hostage by poor sleep or your partner, and you don't know what to do. You feel hopeless. You feel held hostage. So don't let bad sleep hold you hostage. That became the idea, right? This emotion that we're tapping into. And it stands out. I love that you love the name. I love it. Because the people who love the name, those are the people that we want to be a part of what we're building here, right? Because certainly we see it. We see the people who are like, "Oh, I'm offended. That's so stupid. Why would you call it that?" Oh my god. Like, that's fine. You don't have to like it. It's not for everybody. You can move along. Okay? It's not for you then. And that's okay, right? I didn't build a brand to be for everybody, because if I did, then we wouldn't be for anybody. All right? I built this brand so that it was fun, it was interesting, it was cool, and it taps into a certain subset of people that get it. And it was going to stand out. I knew that naming it hostage tape was going to give us an advantage because in this day and age, attention is the currency. And so you scroll on Facebook, right, and you see an ad for hostage tape, you're going to go, what the is this? Holy shit, right? And exactly, yeah. So the name is catchy and it grabs your attention. It stops the scroll and you're like, I can't believe this. Is this for real? You probably, when you saw it for the first time, you probably thought, is this legitimate, or is this a joke, or is this some like crazy sex thing, or some some weird kink? We get that joke quite a bit. Um, Like, when are we coming out with ball gags? Coming out next. But the the it comes down to, there's this concept in marketing called the 95-5 rule. And the 95-5 rule says that 95% of people aren't in market to buy your product. Okay. But 5% may be in market to buy your product. But once those somebody in the 95% comes into market to buy your product, what do they buy? They buy the brand that they remember. And everybody remembers hostage tape. Because how could you forget the brand that's called hostage tape? And then on top of it, right, it's this cool black tape. It's gone viral tons of times. You've seen this shape everywhere now. And so people just naturally think, oh, that's hostage tape, even if it might not be. Technically, we actually own the IP around this. So nobody should be doing this except for us. Okay. So anybody that you see doing it, it's actually illegal. But also, when you've got people like Joe Rogan talking about you, then you've got the triple whammy, right? Of all these things that fit into place. And people then are going to buy hostage tape because they've heard it somewhere. They heard Joe Rogan talk about it. They heard this other guy talk about it. Because look, when people discover mount taping for the first time, you can't shut up about it because you can't believe how amazing you feel when you do it. It's a life changing thing. It's so stupid simple, but it's so life changing that then you can't shut up about it. And so that's what happens. And then this ends up becoming this network effect of all these people talk about it, all these people recommend it. I mean, I can't tell you how many in our post purchase survey, how many people we see um, say, somebody told me about it. My friend told me about it. So, all right. So somebody asked early in the journey, what lever had the highest ROI? All right. So, what had the highest ROI? Um, Facebook. I mean, that might be an obvious answer, but it may not be obvious to the average person out there. So I knew when I built the brand that when we were going to scale this thing, which we did, like within the 2 years, we scaled it to 8 figures, from 0 to 8 figures, and I was going to do that using Facebook and Instagram ads. And so that for sure was the biggest ROI. So it was, and I had never run Facebook ads before, and so I didn't know what I was doing. But I'm the kind of founder that if there's something that has high enough leverage, I'm going to learn how to do it. And so I did. Um, so, all right. So you said, I love to promo your brand on my stories. Yeah, DM us. So go ahead and DM us at Hostage Tape for sure. Um, yeah, if anybody is interested in being an affiliate or anything like that, like TikTok Shop, um, anybody, if you're on TikTok, you can go to our hostage. It's at hostage mouth tape. We've got two handles on TikTok, but the hostage mouth tape handle, that's where we've got our TikTok store. Anybody can click into there and you can become an affiliate, and then you could sell hostage tape and tag our products in it for sure. So I would encourage anybody to do that. But um, the Facebook. So Facebook was hands down the. So I learned how to do it, and it took me about a year to really dial in understanding Facebook, but then not only understand how Facebook would work for us as hostage tape, as mount tape, because when you're trying to sell mount tape, we were the only ones trying to sell mount tape on Facebook at the time, and so it was trying to just to figure out, like, how do we sell this? What are the right angles? Like, what are the right visuals? I couldn't get video to work for the longest time. It took the longest time to get video ads to work. because I think it was so like jarring for people, and we also were trying to figure out creatively like what was the right message and what was the right way to like actually show it. That took a while, and then it took off, and then it was just pumping more and more money into the slot machine that is Facebook, and then just trying to optimize it and make sure that you're doing a good job of spending money on the right ads and turning the wrong stuff off, you know. So yeah, awesome, great. Yeah, go to the TikTok shop for sure. I think somebody had another question about biggest bottleneck. Yeah, so one of the biggest bottlenecks. Um, I would say the one of the biggest bottlenecks was so we had um 2 years ago we became the official partner of the UFC. So we became the official sleep aid of the UFC, and that was my biggest bottleneck. That was actually a mistake that we should not have done. We should not have done that UFC partnership. We're no longer the sleep aid of the UFC. I love the UFC. I love what Dana White has created there. It's awesome. It's an amazing organization. I would love to still be partners with them. Maybe we can be again someday. But at the time, it just wasn't. It just didn't work. I think we prematurely went into that partnership, and it was like a year or two too early. We should have waited. We should have waited until we got past a certain point in revenue, um, to where the money that we were spending really made sense on it. But that was a lot of money to spend on UFC, and so that was definitely one of the biggest bottlenecks. That really hurt cash flow in a way that was hard to get through. But fortunately, we've got such we've got such good LTV. Um, you'll have to if I'm dropping terms here that are maybe a bit advanced. The the great thing about our product is that people keep buying it. It's a product that people use every night and they keep buying more of it. Because that's the nature of this product, it's it's easy for us to continue to get sales and continue to get more sales and then continue to go up and up and up and to the right. And so that's what so the cash flow of that certainly makes it easier that if we make a mistake, we can we can learn from the mistake, own it, adjust and pivot, and then keep moving forward. So, but awesome. Well, folks, this was great. I appreciate it. We're going to keep doing this. I did this for a while and then I got away from it, but I'm going to get back into it again. And this is all about brand building. Now, if you want, you can join me again. I'm going to be on TikTok Shop live. I'm pretty much going live every day, and I go live on TikTok Shop at night. That's going to be a different feed. I sit down at my couch behind me, and I've got a different table set up where I'm all about selling tape. Okay, I'm all about selling. We will have like a special TikTok sale, and so you can catch me every night on TikTok Shop, probably around like 8 o'clock Central Time, somewhere around there is when I go live on TikTok Shop, and again you can catch our special. I've got a special TikTok deal that is only on TikTok Live. You can't get it anywhere else, and so I'm gonna have that on there, so you can join me tonight if you want to. You can let your friends know about it. Okay. And but these lives, these are all about brand. Just talking about the brand, answering questions from great folks like you. Just talking about me, the founder, just brand building. You know, just getting to know you guys. You getting to know me. But awesome, I appreciate it. Again, check out TikTok Shop live tonight, folks.